Yeah, that's good. I mean, what I'm hearing is you were a smart kid, so your decision not to go to college wasn't because you were struggling academically. I mean,
Yeah.
you were in this IB program, so you were a smart kid, but it still boils down to what matters to you right now, which is pursuing your passion. And to
Yeah.
be fair, Xavier, college is not all about partying. Yeah, you're gonna go do there'll be
Yeah,
parties, but
for
it's not. I'm
sure.
telling you, college, you have so many homework. You see the
Mm-hmm.
homework you had in high school, it's gonna be like
Yeah.
times two of that.
Actually, I'm not sure.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our podcast, Life as a Seed podcast with A and A, where we bring you entertaining topics around faith, love, relationships, social issues, personal true life stories, and everything in between. And on today's episode, I have a wonderful guest, a young man. I think I haven't had a young man this way in a long time, but yeah, this is Xavier Meza. Welcome, Xavier.
Welcome. Glad to be here.
Yeah. Just a quick intro on Xavier. Xavier is an advocate for pursuing one's passion and doesn't believe college is the only path to succeeding in life. He believes that the hardest part of growing up is not listening to others when you believe strongly in something. So Xavier is going to share his, experience with us. You're welcome, Xavier, once again. And so I'll just go straight into it. So please tell us about yourself, your background, what was growing up like, all of that.
Yeah, so I grew up in Chicago, born and raised. I still live here. Went to high school here, grade school, everything like that. I was born in a house with only women, so I live with my sister and my mom. Those have been my two influences, I guess, mostly my life since I've lived with them the most. I guess going up through high school, regarding for my adult life, I was really focused on college, especially in junior, sophomore year. I was really interested in how everyone always talked about it. It was like, oh, one of the greatest 4 years of your life kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Once I got closer to senior year, I kind of started to lose that interest, and I started to find there was a different path for me. So that was the kind of thing. But yeah, that's kind of been my life, just all here in Chicago.
Wow, that's awesome. Nice. I like Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago's great.
Yeah.
A lot of culture.
Right. I heard is it the pizza there now? Is it the pizza, Chicago pizza, or something in Chicago? Something good about Chicago food, right?
Yeah, food's a big thing here.
Food is big. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. So how did you find, this is you as a young kid, after high school. Before now, you always thought college was what you wanted, what, the societal norm was. And then you find out that, hey, college is in the path for me, is in the right path for me. So how did you find your passion, your path? How did you know that college wasn't for you? Did you just wake up one morning and decide that?
It definitely wasn't more. It was a long process of just a lot of thinking. So I think it started with exercise. I started exercising sophomore, junior year. I didn't feel respected as a kid growing up. My freshman year was the COVID year, so I wasn't actually in person for my freshman year. So I came sophomore year, and I just remember like people wouldn't look my way. It was almost like you kind of walk in the hallways, people just like hit your shoulder and they don't even know who you are. So it was that kind of thing where I wanted to get into exercise. But that slowly led into me kind of building more confidence in what I was capable of doing, because I thought I was able to build myself into a person because I wouldn't say severely overweight, but I was pretty big. So I would say being able to get away from that and build a body that I think is I guess beneficial, and just people respect me more now.
Yeah.
It showed how I was able to get from a place I didn't think I would be able to get away from. So from doing that, I started to learn, especially like towards junior year, I was just experimenting with things. I was looking around, was watching a lot of podcasts, a lot of YouTube videos, stuff like that. And I started seeing how these people were getting so much money, not just from college, but from doing literally almost anything. The digital world has so many opportunities now. And I saw people making millions of dollars just recording videos of themselves and their life. Other business owners that started so small and with just a dream, and they were able to make millions, billions of dollars. And that was the kind of life that I wanted to live. I think around junior year, I was starting to dream a little bit more heavier than what I think most people were. And to be honest, I did not think that path of college was really going to be the way to get there. It's just I kept hearing how many people would talk about partying and just like the college life, like having a dorm and stuff like that. Those kind of things, they didn't interest me as much. You know, I wanted to do something that was actually meaningful. And I still hear those kind of things today, but I guess what really got me going was construction, because what I realized is I think as a man, there's kind of an expectation to be able to do manly things, like be able to hang a door, change a tire, things like that. And those are things I still don't know how to do. I feel like that's a part of me that I should really get going, and a part that I will really actually want to learn. So I guess construction was a good trade, because I was hearing a lot of things like they're very high demand. They need people because everybody wants to do entrepreneurship and online businesses, stuff like that. It's what everybody sees on TV and stuff like that. It's just like the cool thing to do. But I see like construction, I think, okay, this is a job that's needed. Maybe I could build myself up from here, from something that isn't as normal as everyone else. And when I had I would tell people, and they would be like, oh, it's, you know, it's a little weird. Even my own counselor was like, oh, like I remember one of our last meetings when, like every like once a month, we would have a meeting about college process when transitioning. And she would say, okay, but you're going to college. And I always thought, I was like, it almost seems like forced, like you're trying to force me to go there. And that from there, I was really like, okay, maybe this just isn't for me. So, but yeah, I applied to like 2 colleges, one in Chicago, I think one in Pittsburgh too. And I remember seeing the financial aid letters and seeing like how much money they were asking. It was like $30 a year, or $30,000 a year. And I was like, absolutely not. Like I'm 18, you know, I'm not gonna get help. I'd like, you want me to pay for that? That just sounds insane to me. So I was talking to one of my coaches. I had a high school coach that was basically just helping you through that process. And she introduced me to this apprenticeship for construction. So that's something I plan to do in January. But yeah, that's basically kind of the process that led me there.
Oh, wow. That is awesome. That's so well articulated and, you know, thought through. So yeah, I mean, college is really, I mean, I went to college, and like you said, there's a lot of hype about college. You know, it's the first time you're leaving home, you can do whatever you like, you can be free, attend parties and all that. But I think as a young person, for you to look at that and, you know, decide that is not what you want ultimately. I mean, knowing what you want, because people go through college, 4-year college, and come out and still don't know what they want to do, right? Yeah. College is good, but also it's nice if you know ahead of time, you know, is this the path for me? Is this not the path for me? And then you start early, right? So rather than going through 4 years of college, racking up all those student loans, and then still don't know what you want to do anyway. I think I like your approach here. So how did your parents feel about that when you told them?
So my mom she was originally a little bit skeptical, because she wanted me to go to college too. She was because my sister went to college. She's a couple years older than I am. She went to college. I guess she expected me to. So when I told her, I was like, okay, I don't want to go. She was like, well, I think she was a little bit worried too, because most of the people she talks to, it's all college. Their kids went to college. The people she works with, their kids go to college. So when she hears that, like, I don't want to, and she's like, okay, like I'm assuming she definitely supports me, but I think she's just a little bit skeptical on how the process is going to go, because she's putting a lot of trust in me to do it on my own, and I trust my own ability, but I think she just wants to see me go somewhere far, and I guess telling her it was construction kind of surprised her. So I would say that's kind of her reaction.
Yeah, especially with your generation. I mean, I don't think how many young people your age would think about construction.
Oh no, very little.
Not many.
Very little.
Very little,
very
right?
Little, yeah.
It's usually maybe social media or you know, TikTok, YouTube. You know, but you come in as like this manly profession, like construction. It's a serious deal, right? And then and so what was the steps you took to finding the construction school you wanted to go to? Did you have to do like applications? How did you do all of that?
So there was this apprenticeship, my high school coach. So there was this group I was in called College Possible. It's like a non-governmental organization. And I had this coach. She was completely supportive of me not going. I told her about all the things like financial wise, I wasn't willing to pay that much. And I told her I was interested in a trade. So the first idea was going to be an electrician at a college in, I would say, Northwest Chicago. However, I don't know. I didn't like electrician as much as construction did, because I feel like construction was
What
more.
did you call that? What?
Electrician.
Oh, electrician. Okay.
Yep. And I was more interested in construction. And she told me about, I think she had a cousin that did his apprenticeship in Chicago. That's willing to, it's completely free. You go there for 3 months. They're willing to give you money to go there, and basically give you the ability to learn for that 3 months for free, and then give you a job that's willing to give you good money. So she told me about that, and I was like, all right, so let's sign up. So the whole process was just going into an interview, so like a informational meeting with a bunch of people who are just giving you information on how the program's going to go, and then they give you a one-on-one, and then from there they basically give you a date when to show up, stuff like that. So for me, that's going to be around January. So right now I have 2 jobs that I'm working right now, just to keep myself going, keep myself busy between that. But yeah, that was basically the whole process for now.
I see. Oh, that's good. Quite easy and straightforward, and doesn't take too much time. 3 months and you're done. That's definitely better than 4 year college.
Absolutely.
And you start earning money right away, right?
Yeah.
You start earning good money right away. And there's the potential of going the entrepreneurial path, where you have your own business now and do it for others. Wow. How old are you again, Xavier?
I'm 18. I just graduated. Yeah.
Whoa. Congratulations on your graduation.
Thank you.
Wow. I mean, you have your whole life ahead of you, like 18, like you're still so young. So, and I'm so inspired by your story, how you already know what you want for life, I mean, and the truth is, as you grow older, your passion or your desires might change, and
Absolutely.
So are you open to maybe down the line, do you think you ever want to go to college or maybe acquire any kind of additional skill, or do you think construction is just where you are right now, where you're going to stay?
I definitely don't want to stay in construction. I don't think, because I mean, maybe I could like progress through whatever company I'm working for and like get promoted and stuff like that. But I don't think I would be able to stay through construction. I kind of want to get into real estate investing specifically. I want to be able to maybe also do like a workshop, or find someone who knows how to do it themselves, start investing into real estate, and then maybe do some entrepreneurial stuff down the line. But I think construction is a good base start, because it's a good high paying job. You definitely need a lot of money, especially if you want to invest. You definitely need a lot of money to be able to afford that and start getting cash flow in. So this is just stuff I heard, but definitely construction is a good start for me. I think it also builds a good mindset, because I mean, those are hard, long days that you work. You're working those. You're doing hard work. You're doing it 12 hours a day. You're under contract. So I think that builds a really good mindset for me, and good discipline that is definitely helpful for when I'm wanting to do other activities and other stuff like that. Yeah. So I think that's really important. So yeah, just construction intrigued me because of those things. So
Wow, I love that. Awesome. Yeah. So what are other things you do right now? I mean, you're Gen Z, right? Is 18 Gen Z, or is it Gen?
I think so.
Gen Alpha? Okay.
I have no idea. I'd say Gen Z, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, somewhere around
there.
I'm
so far removed from your generation, and I'm inspired by your generation. I think your generation you guys are go-getters. Like, you just go for what you want. You live life as you want, on your own terms. You don't let people dictate what you want. So I like that about you. So what are the other, things? Okay, I wanted to go to this. Sorry, let me just backtrack a bit. So you talked about losing some weight. You didn't like how you felt about yourself. Can you share a bit more about that? How did you get to that place of like shedding? Because I'm looking at a very fit, like you look very, I don't see any. And it's so sad. People treated you differently when you were, I mean, that's so sad. But yeah, let me hear that.
Well, honestly, I actually don't think it's that. I don't think it's the worst thing. Because honestly, if I never felt that disrespect, if I never felt like, I felt invisible, I would never have had the motivation to exercise. Because that was so important to me. I wanted respect from people. So, but I guess it started in sophomore year. It's just, I would just walk in the hallways. I just didn't like how I looked. I just, I didn't feel like people really were like into talking to me how I saw with like other more fit people. And I thought the first thing was, and I also hung out with a good friend group that were all very fit. They all played sports and stuff like that. So they really got me into it too. So I felt, that's just the best thing to do for that. And the journey was a little bit clunky, but I started out only doing like abs exercises. It was a lot of trial and error. I realized I wasn't good enough. Eventually I started doing more routine kind of exercises, and eventually I started to find a groove in what I wanted to do. So I was able to start exercising more, and eventually I was losing more weight too. And I would say that I've definitely gained more respect from peers, and I think, usually I get a lot of compliments for being fit and stuff like that. And I always love those kind of compliments because it makes me feel like the work I finally put in is like paying off. And that's such a great feeling. I don't think there's many greater feelings in the world than that. So I think definitely a great thing that I was able to do. So
yeah, that's good. I mean, the diligence it takes to lose all of that weight, it's easier when you don't have so much, weight loss journey is hard. I've been there before. It takes a lot of determination and diligence. And I'm glad you were able to, this experience not only helped you lose weight, but also define your why, like your purpose, what you wanted more from life, and you want to continue on that path, which is good. So what other things do you do? So do you do social media? What are the other interests, or what things are you also pursuing?
Well, right now I have 2 jobs. I work as a swim instructor, and I work at a gym, which is really good because I have free access there. But honestly, I would say right now regarding other activities, there isn't really anything that I'm doing other than like exercise, and like maybe I'll like watch a podcast or two, or like YouTube on something going on that I would say is something that that could build something towards my future. But I mean, regarding activities that I do now, I mean, I guess I play a lot of guitar. I mean, that's usually something I like to do for fun.
Nice.
I don't think that would build a career, but it's definitely something for fun that I like to do. Just, talking to people too. I'm meeting a lot of new people. I'm getting a lot of advice from there. So those kind of things, whatever it takes to build myself up, any kind of experience is good experience. So
right. So now, do you have mentors? Do you have people who, pour into you? Do you belong to like community groups and all that?
I wouldn't say any like real, definitely not in any group. Mentor wise, I don't think, depends, because there's a lot of people, there's like, especially a lot of like dads that I've talked to before that they usually like, I tell them I'm doing construction, they're like, oh, well, like that's such a great thing because they're used to hearing all their boys going to like finance at college. So when they're usually giving me good advice, like, oh yeah, that's like really good. Sometimes they're even like telling me about guys that they know that are looking for workers and stuff like that. They definitely give great advice, because these are guys that have built themselves up to a point where somewhere I'd want to be around. So that's definitely good.
Yeah.
But regarding mentors, I wouldn't say I have like any specific in what's guiding me now as of now. But
yeah. Anyway, you said something about listening to podcasts. I feel like there's so much wonderful podcasts out there with good information, right? Where you're getting knowledge and some kind of mentoring as well, right? So that also helps build you up. Being very young, I remember when I was 18, as a young person, you always think, oh yeah, I have the whole world figured out, right? But I think just being open to receiving new information, just being open to receiving new information is good. Just know that in the path of life, there'll be a lot of turns, a lot of pivot you have to do, and just being open and willing to take those turns whenever it comes, it's very useful. So what's your relationship with your sisters, and your parents? Are they in support of this, or are they still like, Xavier, are you sure you don't want to apply to that college, or they're good now?
Definitely still skeptical. I guess specifically with my sister, I don't want to talk too much about it, but we're not on the best terms. We don't really talk that much. She's definitely on her own path. I'm on my own. I'm not gonna like talk bad on her. We're still family, but we definitely don't see eye to eye on a lot of things. So, but I guess my mom, she's still, sometimes she's like, oh, maybe you should look into this or into that. And she'll like give me a bunch of like career stuff, she's just like, I think that's just because she wants to make sure I choose the right thing, which is definitely definitely something that's good to hear. But I'm just still skeptical, I guess, especially since I'm starting in January and there's such a couple good amount of months to go in between then. So I guess just seeing from there. But yeah, I'll definitely say regarding college, I have like a lot of friends that are going to college and they're all across the US right now. I guess I've still been talking to them. They've been telling me about their experiences and stuff like that. And it seems like what I just said, like it seems like a lot of partying, not much. They like just started classes like a week ago, but they've already been there for 3 weeks kind of thing. So I think, I don't know, I still even now, I think even after hearing those stories, I still think I'm making the right decision. So I think that's what matters.
Yeah. I think that's what matters. Yeah, like you said, just go with, your decision, your intuition, be confident in it and keep going. Like I said, you're 18, you're very young. 5 years down the line, when we talk again, it might be a different perspective. But for now, this is where you are. So just pursue it, go ahead on, which is good. Awesome. I love that. And then what's your advice? I mean, I'm glad your mom has come to terms with it, even though she's trying to see how she can push you. But I think she's because I'm an immigrant, right? And I know how immigrant families are. I'm talking personally for myself. I can't imagine if maybe I came here with my parents and I'm a young kid and I tell them, hey, I don't want to go to college. They're going to be like, no. Because that's all we know back home. Like, you have to go to school. So, but again, this generation has changed. So what would be your advice to parents of young kids who are trying to force their kids to go get that college degree, go get that BSc, MS, PhD, whatever?
Yeah, so regarding advice, it's hard because, parents always want the best for their kids, but their idea of the best is different than their kids' idea. I would just say, just remember that your child or, that kid has their own, they have their own ability to understand what they want out of their life. And while, you are the parent, when they become 18, that's kind of, in all honesty, it's not really up to you anymore. It's kind of up to them. So I would say, even though it's hard, you kind of just have to understand that what they want to do, you should support it. You are family. You should support whatever they want to do. Always try. I mean, if you want to push them to do something else or open the opportunity, that's definitely good. But if there's something that they're set in stone that they want to do, just let them do it. The part of life is, learning from mistakes. If what they do is not something they actually wanted to do, just that's a good learning experience for them. Let them deal with it, and then they'll move on from there. And eventually you'll see that after a while, most of the time they'll end up being somewhere with success. So as long as they're able to do that, as long as they're able to make those mistakes, they'll eventually find their way and find their path. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, well spoken. Yeah. So long as the child is at least on the right path, they're not harming themselves or hurting others, whatever that passion is, so long as it's something that is good for the greater good for so many. I feel like being an entrepreneur and going the trade routes is actually a quicker and a surer way of getting maybe established, I think. And again, you can always go back to get that college degree. You can always go back to get that certification. You can always go back, right? But for someone who right out of high school went into college, they would never have the kind of experience, the kind of skills you would acquire through this trade school, which is good. Yeah. So let me ask you maybe an off question here. How was your high school experience? Did you have how was your high school experience? I did school here in the US, and I always wondered how high school here was.
It's a very wide open question. There's so many paths I could go down to talk about. I guess in general, I would say I liked it. I would say my favorite year was sophomore year because I was more free and it was more, you're not really focusing on tests or grades. Yeah, you're kind of just still in that area of school where you can still have fun kind of thing. So I was definitely, that was probably my favorite year. I was having the most fun in that one. Eventually, junior and senior year, I joined this program. I don't know if you heard of it. It's called IB, or it's short sure for international baccalaureate. It's this really hard program. It's international, and they give you like these really hard classes, and the whole point is so you can get these college credits. And you take these tests at the end of your senior year, and you get a diploma for it, which I ended up getting. So I'm kind of proud of myself for that. But it definitely, good. I will say that did not make school enjoyable at all. It was a lot of sleepless nights. It was a lot of the amount of homework we would get. I mean, you barely have any time to do any free things outside of school other than that homework that they'd give you and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I mean, it's 8 periods a day, 45, 50-minute classes. It's a lot of you're just going back and forth. You're going to each class. You know, eventually you kind of get used to it, but you're really not. I wouldn't say you're 100% in it. You know, you're like, you know, as the day starts, you know, you're really tired because you just did, and then you go midday, and you're probably, I would say, at like your highest level of thinking capability, and then it kind of goes back down because you're starting to get tired because of all those classes. So, but it was good. I would say the people were all right. It's, you know, there's a lot of, I wouldn't say I align with a lot of them. I definitely have some good friends from my high school, but it seemed like they were all either party goers or they were all too into their head, at least most of them, I would say. I wouldn't say I would try to take too much advice from them, from the kids at my school, but, you know, it was definitely kind of experience that I think is usually a big detriment to a kid's life, or it's just like, you know, you remember everything from high school. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what I remember. It's just kind of the fun times and the hard work. So
yeah, that's good. I mean, what I'm hearing is you were a smart kid, so even your decision not to go to college wasn't because you were struggling academically. I mean, you were in this IB program, so you were a smart kid, but it still boils down to what matters to you right now, which is pursuing your passion. And to be fair, Xavier, college is not all about partying. Yeah, you're gonna go do the parties, but it's not. Sure. I'm telling you, college, you have so many homework. You see the homework you had in high school, it's gonna be like times 2 of that.
actually, I'm not sure. They always said like the work that they gave us like in high school, because I mean, these were 8 classes. When you're in college, you only have like 2, 3, a couple times a week. Apparently, what I heard was that they gave us more work in high school than they would in college. It's from what I heard. They just gave us a lot. So that's what our teachers always said. That's why they always said it was very preparing for us.
Okay. So. Well, I didn't do high school here. I did high school back home, and I did college back home, and also did some college. I did my master's when I came here to the US. And I can tell you that the curriculum here in the US is very rigorous for college, at least from my experience. You get a lot of projects, a lot of group work, teamwork activities, a lot of homework, and it depends on the degree as well. I did engineering. Whatever degree you're getting, it determines how tedious it will be. But I think from my perspective, what I saw, because I also interacted with a lot of undergrads when I was in grad school here in the US, and they got busy. Even though I know weekends they partied a lot. So there was that partying. But I think they also were really busy. They had a lot of schoolwork, homework, to keep them engaged. But yeah, that's good. Yeah, thanks for sharing your high school. Because I always wondered, wow, what would it have been like going to high school? Yeah, because I watch a lot of high school movies, you know. But
that's very inaccurate, I'll say.
It's not accurate,
yeah,
really?
Not really that accurate. Wow. Yeah, it's usually they definitely in the movies they definitely like boost however it feels. It seems more fun. It's not usually like that.
Okay.
But yeah. So.
Interesting. Wow. Okay. So Xavier, so let me ask, even though it's still too early, because do you have any regrets, to this decision? Do you second guess sometimes?
No. Actually, no, not really. I feel like I would regret it more if I did go to college and I realized, I don't really want to go. Because at least I know that I'm not in college. I don't have it. There's nothing tied to me,
Right.
I'm not in debt. I'm not. There's nothing like my name isn't on anyone's list or anything. So I feel that even if the apprenticeship was like thrown away or something. At least I have like everything at my fingertips. At least I could try and get into something else. In college, I'd have to like wait for all my classes to be done, and in the summer maybe I could get away from it and then go to construction. That would just be a lot of time wasted. So I'm actually really glad I didn't end up going. No regrets coming from me. I don't lose sleep from it or anything. So
Right. Yeah. I like how confident you are, and you have a good head on your shoulder. So what advice will you give to other young kids like you coming out of high school or
Well, I'm not gonna say that they shouldn't go to college, because it's definitely a personal choice. I would just say you really need to educate yourself with more than just what people tell you. I think you need to be able to get information that is either unbiased or that's real enough for you to understand what you want to do. And I would also argue to figure out why you want to do the career you want to do. So for example, for me, I would be completely honest, I don't really want to do construction for passion. I'm not 100%. I'm not going to wake up and be like, oh yeah, I'm ready to lay bricks all day. I want to do it eventually I want to get to a point where I have a lot of money. That's kind of where I'm coming from. And I'm not even afraid to say that. But I think if there's people that want to do a job that they like doing, you really look into that, see what's actually the best way to do it, instead of thinking, oh, college is the only answer. And just don't be afraid of it either, because I think a lot of people are afraid. They hear anything outside of college and they just think, oh, well, nobody else is doing it, so why should I do it? I think, being afraid of it is kind of really where most kids kind of lose it, because I have a couple of friends where they were thinking about not doing something in college either. And they just remember they had a parent or somebody had made them do it. They did all the work for them or kind of thing. They were kind of just thrown into it and they didn't even want to do it in the first place. So I think stay control of yourself. Don't be afraid. And educate yourself on your own terms.
Wow, that's good advice. So do you think your ability to pursue your passion has to do with your the relationship you have with your parents? Your mom, for instance, she created a safe space, because if she was a parent who was always it's my way or the highway, you wouldn't have had the courage. But do you think her parenting or the way she is helped you, made it easier for you?
Good question. I would say it's kind of in the middle. I think she wanted me to go to college, but she also was okay with me taking things into my own hands. So I guess me doing construction was kind of for her like, oh, okay, I don't have to worry about this. He's got it. Because that's what I kept trying to tell her, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna figure this out. So I think that was definitely made the decision for her easier. I think, there are some kids that their parents, their only way or the only path that they see is college. I think that at that point it's just up to the kid to make sure he or she knows that what they need to do to get to whatever point they want to be in when they're older. So if it's college or not, I mean, at that point, if your parents not willing to, if they're like, oh, college only, at that point, it's kind of up to you. Do you want to listen to your parent? Do you want to take things in your own hands? And that's kind of a decision that's different based on base. So I can't really give any advice on that. But if I was in that shoe, I would have to take things into my own hands for sure.
Yeah, that's good. That's interesting, because at the end of the day, it's your life, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Your life. Yeah. So did you have people around, your maybe extended family who went to college? Or would you say, because I think sometimes when you come from a family where everyone has gone to college, it's usually more like, oh, it has to be college or nothing else. Or if it's a family where it's 50-50, some did go to college and some didn't, and they were still okay. Because I think for your mom, top of mind for her would be for you to be okay in life. She wants to be sure that, oh, Xavier is okay. He's making good money. What's your family background concerning college?
So what was their background?
Yeah, so did you have your extended family all go to college and you're probably the first person deciding not to go?
Yeah, Yeah, my mom went to college in Chicago. She got her
Okay.
master's. Sister's currently doing college.
Mm-hmm.
I know my dad did for a couple years. I guess I'm pretty sure I had all my cousins went to college, pretty much everyone.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't say I separated from them to make this decision, but it was definitely something that I kept to myself for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I wanted to be sure before I really was going to make the decision, because I grew up in, when I was in my junior year, if you would have told me my senior year that I was not going to go to college, I would have told you were crazy. Like, that's like, it took that much to really change my mind. I was planning to do like psychology or something, or I don't even remember, but it was something. I kind of opened my eyes in the beginning, and then I was like, okay, maybe I should look into this, and eventually I made the decision after certain times.
That's good. Awesome. Nice. So Xavier, yeah, this was a very wonderful conversation. So what are you working on now? Just rounding off now. Are you doing anything special that you want the listeners or the audience to support you with, or how can they find you? How can they reach you?
Well, if you want to reach me, you could email me, Xavier D Meza, XAVIERD Meza MEZA @gmail.com. If you want to send a message, ask a question. On my Instagram, same thing, Xavier D Meza. My account's private and I don't have many followers, but I'm always accepting followers. I guess regarding things now that I'm doing, I'm just working 2 jobs, waiting for January for everything to start back up. Just getting money up and being able to have a good foundation for whenever that starts. So, yeah.
Wow, fantastic. You're such. I'm so inspired by your story. How you know what you want and you're going for it. It's admirable. If there's an English word for that, like that, but yeah,
admirable. Yeah.
Just keep at it. Keep going forward. I'm a Christian, so I believe so much in God's help in spiritual, things. So I pray that God will bless you and keep guiding and directing you to know the path He has, for you, and you succeed in life. Everything you desire will come to pass. So thank you so much. So I'm gonna get if you don't mind sending me all your details, your social media, so I can put it in the description box of the YouTube video and the podcast, so that people can, reach out, and if they have questions, they can ask you. Especially young people, I'm sure. I think we have some young people who listen to our podcast, because when I look at the analytics, so I hope this encourages them. So do you have any last words for people, for the Gen Zs, Gen Alphas?
Yeah, just like I said earlier, just take things into your own hands. Don't let anyone take away something that means so much to you. Sometimes it's going to be hard to be able to, but you have to take matters in your own hands sometimes, and don't be afraid of that, because life is about mistakes. I haven't personally been able to experience those yet, but I know I will soon. And wherever life takes me, honestly, it's kind of, I wouldn't say I'm going to go with the flow, but I'm going to make those decisions when those mistakes come. And I think it's important to understand that if everyone's doing something and you don't want to do what everyone else is doing, that's completely okay. I would say bring good people around you. The better the people that you hang around, the better you're going to end up yourself. So make sure they support you. If they're not willing to, and it's something you care about a lot, then, do what you can to stay away from that advice and go to your own. So that's what I would say to all my young people. Yep.
Nice. Well said. Well spoken. Thank you so much, Xavier. Really appreciate you being on here. It was refreshing having a young person, talk to a young person.
Absolutely.
Very refreshing. Yeah, I appreciate that. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this this episode with Xavier. Hope you, gained one thing or the other from it. If you're a parent who has young kids that telling you about not going to college, please don't freak out. It's going to be okay. They're going to figure it out, and, just let them follow their path. And they'll succeed at it. And if you're a young person trying to decide, hope Xavier's story inspired you. Just follow your heart, do what what God has laid in your heart to do. But anyway, thank you for watching. We hope you keep coming back for more amazing content. Please like, subscribe, comment, share. We appreciate all your support, and we'll see you on our next episode. Thank you. Bye-bye.